Hello, 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 everyone. Can you guys let me know that you can hear me okay? Want to make sure that we have sound. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing great. Pinky. Well, you can hear me good. Good. I had to change some settings there, so I just wanted to make sure. Let's go back up to the top. So I gave out today. I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all enjoying some nice weather. It's summer now, so I was surprised to hear yesterday I scooted down to Sobeys at the bottom of the road, and there was a teacher in there, and he was telling the cashier that school is still in. I didn't realize school was still in. My kids are not in school anymore, so I thought school was out. So today I sent out 10 memberships. We get 10 a month. I think I have more there because I hadn't been passing. Typically I do it per month, but where I was away for a little bit, took some time off, I didn't hand them all out. So I do believe I have some more there. I plan on doing a members live here very soon. So Belinda, thank you for being here. Hello to you. Marlena, Native Girl, Handmade, thank you. Nurse, thank you very much for being here. Pears of the Prairie, congratulations, new members. Hi to Novah and everyone in chat. Excited for the case comparisons. And may there be justice for these lost souls. Absolutely. Yeah. Melissa, hello to you. Thank you for being here. Angelina, nice to see you again. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Rena, hi. Thanks for being here. Marianne, hello. Thank you for being here. Yep. Kevin was missing in 1994 and his remains were found in 2000. Alex was missing in 1983 and found in 2002. Pinky, thank you for being here. Just the facts, ma'am. Hello to you. Lori, hello, sweet Lori. We'll have to chat about July 7th, Lori. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Thank you, Paris. Yeah, if everyone doesn't mind hitting that thumbs up. Thank you. Well, that's good. You can all hear me okay. Lynn, hello. Hello, Novah, and all more tornadic weather today and weekend. Oh, sorry to hear that. You must be in the US. Although we've been having tornadoes here in Canada, not in this part of Canada. That's not a common thing here. Not that it doesn't happen. Kimberly, hello. Brian, I have not seen you in a long, long time. Nice to see you. Donna, hello. Pinky, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much. I'm not doing bad. Not too bad is all I can say, really. I received a call today for one of my specialist visits I have to go make. I finally have my appointment for that, so I'll be doing that. It's not until July. Oh my God, I hope she didn't say July 7th. Just a second. Oh, I can't reach the paper I wrote it on. Now I'm trying to think of the date that she said, and I feel like she did say July 7th. I'll have to call and cancel it. Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. I'll be going, Lisa, and I can pick you up. Well, thank you. Yeah. All right. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I believe I'm down to the end. If I missed anybody, my apologies. Not intentional at all. Yeah. So there we go. So we have 3 separate cases with many similarities. I'm sure I'm sure you guys know some of them, some of the similarities that I would be referring to. So I noticed some of you had noted there that Kevin and Alex both are also from Pictou County, not Pictou, the town of Pictou, but Pictou County, the county. And also went missing. Now, Kevin and Alex have been located years and years later, deceased, and in both cases ruled that they are victims of homicide. Lily and Jack, thus far, are still missing. And, you know, yet to be determined what actually exactly is taking place in their case. Um, Before we go to those 3 cases, so what we'll do is we'll start with Alex, and then we'll move to Kevin, and then we'll move to Lily and Jack. If there's any other similarities that you guys feel that you're familiar with in those 3 cases, what stand out to you? And not at all that I'm saying these 3 cases are connected, because I don't at all believe that they're in any way connected. I mean, if it turned out that any of these cases were connected, I'd be shocked. But one never knows. But that's not at all what I'm getting at here. But it's just really extraordinary, the similarities in these 3 cases. Starting with the fact that it all took place in Pictou County. If there's anything else you guys would like to share or pop into the chat there that you're aware of that makes these cases, that the similarities in these cases, besides the fact that they all went missing, and all 3 of the cases took place in Pictou County. But what I'm going to do is, before we get into that, we are going to take a look at some news that came out today about Canada's sweeping bail and sentencing reforms become law. So I'll read over that, and after that, we'll move on. And that's just interesting because, they're making certain things stricter regarding bail and sentencing. So good information. So I'll go over that with you guys. I didn't plan on it, but stuff like this always comes up in my news feed. So due to my algorithm. So this was there this morning when I woke up. I always check my news feed, and I was like, oh, interesting. Handmaiden, are there any family connections between the 3? Do the families know each other? Not that I am aware of. I have wondered in Kevin's case if there's any such connections. But I'm not aware of any. Yeah. But I've thought the same thing, handmaiden. I wondered that myself. One can't help but wonder, right? Because you'll understand why when we get into Kevin's case, why I say that. Yeah. All right. So let us get into this. Make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Did any of you guys read this, hear about this morning? Brian says, what about Dylan? Yeah, Dylan Ealer. That actually is, although it's in Nova Scotia, it's actually in a different county. It's not in this county. But unfortunately, with Dylan's case, Dylan's case is closed. Dylan's case was determined to be an accident. And that he wandered away and down to the river and was washed out to sea. Um, so, but one thought I always had on his case that I think sticks out to many is the fact when I heard that the grandmother, which is who he was with at the time, had been had turned to put the dog on the leash, and within that amount of time he was just gone. So of course, I think for many people that kind of makes you pause, right? How does a child go missing that fast in that short amount of time? So, of course that always struck me. And you know, who knows what's going on in that case behind the scenes, really, because there's operations that go on behind the scenes. But I don't know. That story was always a little, yeah, I was just going to say that story was always a little fishy. And I looked down. Brian says that story is awful fishy. Yeah. And I mean, it certainly doesn't mean anything nefarious took place. It could mean that the grandmother doesn't want to be honest about what was really taking place, because of guilt, and but I mean, there's no way at all that I believe that in that short amount of time that she had just turned her back to put the dog on the leash and he was gone and end of story. Definitely not. But yeah, so yeah. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. Um Handmaiden, you have my if my microphone goes off, you can text me. Because we don't want that happening again. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if that's true. I mean, I don't know if it was ever confirmed. Actually, I think the mother did talk about that in her uh was it W5 I think she was on. Um and I think that is a fact that they were fighting. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just the facts, man. Ma'am, 18 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I think when she gave her statement, she said 3 minutes. Like if I could be wrong, because that was such a long time ago, but just trying to go by recall that she had stated, she had only turned her back for like 3 minutes to put the dog on the leash. Because I remember at first thinking, like 3 minutes. How does it take you 3 minutes to put a dog on the leash? Um, and especially if you have a child there with you, you're going to rush and do it really quick. And yeah, yeah, there's something more to it for sure. Yeah. There, I got my phone beside me and I have it turned up in case my mic mutes on me. All right, we'll get over to this. Yeah, he was writing checks on his dead woman's account. Oh, I don't know anything about that. Hi, Tambourine. Thank you for being here. All rightio. Canada's sweeping bail and sentencing reforms become law. News release. Over 80 targeted changes to the criminal code on bail and sentencing are now law. June 16th, 2026, Ottawa, Ontario, Department of Justice, Canada. Canada's new government promised stricter bail laws and tougher sentencing laws. The promise is now law, said the Honourable Sean Fraser, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada. And by the way, Sean is actually from Pictou County. The government of Canada has been relentlessly focused on keeping Canadians safe. The Bail and Sentencing Reform Act received royal assent yesterday, delivering on our commitment to strengthen the criminal code. These sweeping reforms make bail laws stricter and sentencing laws tougher to repeat and these sweeping reforms make bail laws stricter and sentencing laws tougher for repeat violent offenders, support the front lines, and invest in long-term prevention. Shaped by extensive consultations and close collaboration with partners across the country, these reforms were backed by premiers from every province and territory, as well as mayors and law enforcement who called for the bill's swift passage. The changes on bail and sentencing will now come into force after 30 days. It's kind of ironic considering Trudeau made everything lighter. The catch and release and all this stuff. Now it seems that they're fixing things. Not to get into politics, but just the crime side of it is what we're focused on. Stricter bail laws. Bail laws are now stricter for violent and organized crime, home invasion, car theft, and human trafficking. More specifically, the changes make bail harder to give for those accused of repeat and violent offending by creating new reverse onus rules on certain cases, meaning the accused must show why they should be released. So they have to work for it. Well, hopefully that in itself is tough. That doesn't, just sound like it's going to be tough. But hopefully the hoops they have to jump through are tough hoops. So also direct police to detain an accused for a bail hearing when it is necessary to protect the public, including victims and witnesses, which is good because how many times do you hear yourself saying or someone else, why were they released? Direct police to detain an accused for a bail hearing when it is necessary to protect the public, including victims and witnesses. Sorry, I think I just read the same line again. Require courts to consider more factors at bail hearings, including whether the allegations involve violence that was random or unprovoked. Require courts to consider whether the accused has numerous or serious outstanding charges when determining whether to grant them bail. So that'll cut down on the catch and release stuff. Require courts to consider weapons bans in more cases. Require courts to look more closely at an accused person's bail plan when a reverse onus applies, and prohibit courts from naming anyone as a surety. Someone who supervises the person who is out on bail. And I think what they mean by that is not that they're not going to name that individual, but that they're going to not allow it. So, yeah, if you know what I mean. Who was convicted of a serious criminal offense in the past 10 years, unless no other suitable surety is available. Tougher sentencing laws. People convicted of serious crimes may now spend more time in prison. More specifically, the charges require consecutive sentences for violent auto theft and break and enter. So that's good. So it's not going to be one crime, it's going to be seen as two separate crimes. Require consecutive sentences for extortion and arson. Require judges to consider consecutive sentences for repeat violent offending. The law also creates new aggravating factors for courts to consider in cases involving crimes against first responders, crimes against public transit workers, organized retail theft, mischief and theft that damage essential infrastructure. The law also ends house arrest for certain sexual assault and child sexual offenses. Awesome. Wow. Wonder why it says certain. I mean, it is what it is. Restores driving bans for manslaughter. I didn't know that there wasn't a ban anymore. Restores driving bans for manslaughter and criminal negligence causing bodily harm or death. So, if you're charged to that, you are no longer going to have a driver's license. Strengthens fine enforcement. These changes are an important step, but laws alone are not enough. Their full impact will depend on implementation across the justice system. Provinces and territories are responsible for administering and resourcing key parts of that system, including policing, prosecution services, bail courts, bail supervision programs, provincial courts, jails, and victim services. The Government of Canada has acted swiftly to strengthen the law and will continue working with partners across the country to support effective implementation. Changes to Canada's criminal code were made stronger by the valuable input, expertise, close collaboration, and continued partnership of provinces, territories, law enforcement, mayors, victims, advocates, and partners across the country who helped shape them. With these sweeping reforms now law, effective implementation across the justice system by all provincial and territory governments will be essential. And I'm hoping, because Sean Fraser is from here, Pictou County, and also our premier is also from Pictou County, that they are indeed going to ensure that these are implemented here. I hope they are all across the country, that they, it's adhered to strictly. And yeah, I'll just go up and see what you folks are saying about that. I thought that was a really good read. Yeah. Oh, he went to jail over that, did he, Brian? I wasn't aware of that. See, when that happened, that's when my health turned for the worse. So, unfortunately, it's not a case that I was on top of like many others. Thanks for being on today. I've been waiting for some something quality to listen to. Oh, thank you, Tambourine. That's nice. That's a nice compliment. Paris, God, we desperately need tougher sentencing. Yes. 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 And this house arrest, like for the actual stuff, and I don't know why it says for some, like that should just be hands down for all. That's it. Uh, there should be nothing that should squeak by that. Hi, Lori. These new laws are sure needed. Yeah. Yeah. Ship Hector, thank you for being here. And hello to you as well. I heard the ship Hector. My son was telling me something about it, that they finished the repairs on it or something like that. So I'm sure it during the Lobster Carnival, which will be I think, what is it? What's that? Like nearing the end of the first week of July. Yeah, that should be out for everyone to see. Yeah. I don't like that unless part. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully these will be adhered to across all of Canada. Like I said, I'm very hopeful for here in Pictou County because Sean Fraser and Tim Houston are both from Pictou County. Yeah. Yes, definitely for vehicular crimes. Yeah, is what they were speaking about there. Yeah, the manslaughter and that. Yeah. I am a bit disappointed that the bill didn't address crimes against children. Right. Well, it said it did say about actual crimes against children, but it said some. And I'm not getting where the some. It should have said all crimes. It should have said all actual crimes, including those against children. But it said some actual crimes, including those against children. And I'm like, no, take the some out of there. Yeah. All rightio. Now let us go over to. So what about you guys? Is there anything else that anyone here today is familiar about? If you're familiar about the Kevin, Alex, Penney case, Kevin Martin, Alex Penney, and you've been following the missing case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, anything stand out to you guys at all that would make these cases similar? And again, not connecting them as they're these cases are connected, but that's not what we're doing. It's just there's similarities in it. I mean, it's I don't know what the word is to use. I said it earlier, but now it escapes me. But it's interesting that there's such similarities in these three cases. Location, bingo. Right on. Location. Yeah. So not only did all of these cases take place in Pictou County, they all have the old highway, oh my gosh, now I'm going to forget what it's called. Is it the 285? Garlic Road. Now, Alex eventually was found in Lansdowne. We'll go over his case. Again, determined to be a homicide. The 289, thank you. Yeah, along the old highway, the 289. So that is where Lily and Jack went missing from. That is where, off that route, that Alex was found. That's where, off that route, is where Kevin was found. Oddly enough, they were all missing cases. Lily and Jack's is still considered a missing case. We do not know yet what exactly is taking place there. The other two cases, they were found years later. We'll read the article, go over the article, determined to be homicides. All right, so I'll bring those articles up, or it's actually one article. There's 3 stories in one article. We're going to go over 2. One of them is another missing case here in Pictou County as well, Lynn Oliver. I did speak of her before, and Shenanigans Tea Time with Shenanigans, she went over the whole case. Yeah, so I'll bring this up. Now, I could not, for the life of me, find a picture of Alex. Plenty of pictures of Kevin. No pictures of Alex. Yes, I wish I was on the parole board. I would not let anyone out that did crimes against people of any age. Yeah. Yeah. Alex was in that mine with a large rock chained to him, allegedly. The mine was closed over afterwards, except for a pipe for bats. That's right. Yeah. Yep. Yes, he was a small man. Yeah. You're right. Yep. Yeah, he was. I remember walking on Ford Street the day she went missing. I was just a kid, but did see a big black man watching her. Really? Wow. Yeah, I know there's lots of indicators that she was definitely being watched. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Alex is possibly connected to some rug stuff going on, but the thing is, the thing that bothers me about that is that um that is what starts around here, those rumors. So for example, when old garden gal, late slip for you. Well, welcome in, no worries there, and thanks for being here. The thing about that is, so if you were with me all along and following Lily and Jack, um, and then those rumors started that, oh, they were taken and put on a reserve, and I got really upset about it. And that's why, because being from here, I'm so used to, and I'm sure it happens elsewhere, but just what I've experienced, we have cases that go way back, and then those rumors start that, oh, it was drug related and gang related, and it ends up that no, none of that is so. Like the Billy Smith case, well, no, it was his neighbor down the road who did it. But the story that was passed along was that it was rug related, and he uh, was got into trouble with some, gang type rug related stuff in Ontario, and he went out there and they ended up killing him and blah 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 blah. Well, no, none of that was true. He was in the pond on the street that he lives on, and it was his neighbor who, you know, murdered him. So when I hear that, I kind of I'm on the fence with it. Of course, it could be true, absolutely. But I'm on the fence with it that, okay, is this one of those stories that's being passed around? Um, Possibly people's assumption or diversion, whatever, right? Um, yes, I heard Lynn Oliver was put in a manhole behind the Aberdeen Mall. I reported it, but she wasn't found. Yes, yeah, yeah. They were thinking either that or a well. Yeah. All right. So we will go over to this article. Like I said, Lynn Oliver's in there, but what we'll do, I mean, I'll probably touch on Lynn Oliver on another day. I do have her on one of my posters, unsolved crime posters. But we'll stick with Kevin and Alex for today. Can you guys see that okay on the screen? Can you just let me know? That's true, Angelina. Yep, it sure does. Yep. They are really cracking down right now. I mean, big time. Big time. I am so happy to see it. I mean, there was always bust going on, but it's really been increased the last while. Um yeah, and not just the little folks, like they've been taking down the big guys. Yeah. Okay, that's good. You guys can see that. All right. I'm going to go over and read it. Um, Handmaiden, you have my number. If my mic goes dead, don't hesitate to call me. Okay, so we'll just scoot down to it starts off a little bit with Lynn in there. We'll just leave that. So Kevin Martin, Lynn Oliver, Alex Penney are all different people who lived in different parts, in different times and circumstances. And we can say Lilly&Jack Sullivan as well, right? But they do have one thing in common. Their lives were ended far too soon. And that's in these cases, not Lilly&Jack, because we don't know what happened to Lilly&Jack. But with Kevin and Alex, we do know that they they uh, they were murdered under mysterious circumstances, making them some of the old cold cases in Pictou County. Police are still trying to find the answers to what happened to Kevin and Alex. Their lives have not been forgotten, and they still have files with the respective police agencies, and rewards are being offered for information. Here are their stories. Kevin Wesley Martin. Kevin Martin was a thin, dark haired boy, just a few months shy of his 14th birthday. And I'll show you guys the picture of him. I did touch on Kevin's case already. There is a video there. There he is there. So Kevin Wesley Martin, age 13 years, reported missing May 19th, 1994, from Stellarton, Nova Scotia. Found deceased November 13th, 2000, Burnside, Colchester County, Nova Scotia, in a shallow grave, $150,000 reward. So, like I say, he was also found on the 289, but down the other end of it. The boy's files speaks of a boy who had seen his brother die in a house fire in 1987, a boy who ran away from his mother and his stepfather's house twice before his disappearance, of a boy police described as not a bad kid. And I said this before, and it bothers me when they say runaway, because we're not talking about a kid who ran away and then, when I think of a runaway, I think of kids who they've run away and they're living out in the streets, they're surviving in whatever way they can. That's a runaway to me. A kid taken off to their friend's house, uh, and staying away for a bit to cool down, I don't call that a runaway. But that's what they're referring to in this article. He didn't run away and live out in the streets or anything like that. He would take off to a friend's house, which to me is just typical teen behavior. Um, on May 19th, Kevin had been returned to his mother's home after going to a friend's house and being located in Thorburn area. He disappeared that same day. For a time, it was hoped that Kevin, so that day, the day that they took him, they found him at a friend's house in Thorburn. They took him back home. That is the same day that he then again was gone forever. For a time, it was hoped that Kevin was hiding out. People in the area had indicated they had seen or had spoken to him. Into the winter of 1994, police checked out numerous locations, camps, and woods throughout the county. But by early 1995, the reported sightings petered off. After Kevin failed to walk down Ford Street on July 23, 1996, his 16th birthday, when no one could force him to return to his troubled home, police began fearing that Kevin was dead. In November 2000, everything changed. Commercial loggers working deep in the woods 20 meters from a remote logging road in Burnside discovered human remains in a shallow grave near the Pictou County Colchester County line. And it was a sneaker, right? His foot, a sneaker that they found. In March 2001, after extensive forensic work by the RCMP, the body was identified as Kevin's. Although visual identification was not possible, RCMP investigators immediately determined the remains were the victim of foul play, and they said it was horrific. What was done to him to cause his death was extremely horrific. It's believed that Kevin died shortly after he disappeared, and his body was taken to the woods in Burnside to be disposed of after he'd been killed. Now, they also said, and I'm just telling you from what I know from other facts that I've pulled together from the case. Police have said that whoever took him there, they believe had help, and that they were familiar with the area. So going back to the question that was asked, did his family have any connections to other families, in the other stories that we're going to talk about here, the other cases? That's why I wonder that as well. because they say that uh, the person was familiar to the area. And not to say his family, whoever did this to him, uh, right? Because we don't know. We don't know who did it. But we know who the one suspect was in the case. Um, the murder scene has never been determined, and the cause of death has never been revealed because it's evidence only the murderer or witness to the murder would know. Shortly after Kevin's body was identified, his mother, Bonnie Thomas, confirmed that her husband, Danny Thomas, was one of the people under investigation by the RCMP for the murder. Um, so, yeah, so that's what I was referring to. But said that she did not believe he was in any way involved with Kevin's murder and was in a cast with a broken leg at the time of Kevin's disappearance. And that also makes me wonder, what are the police thinking in this case when they say that they feel the individual had to have had help in taking Kevin there? That whoever took him there, they don't believe that person did it alone. So I just kind of, because they were thinking of him as a suspect. He's passed away, by the way. Now, whether he did anything or not, but we know that they thought of him as a suspect. Is that why they were saying that? Because if he was still in a cast, then he would probably need help, right? So it just a thought that crossed my mind. The RCMP has never named an official suspect in the case and has never confirmed that Danny Thomas was a suspect, but Kevin's mother does confirm it. There's been conflicting information from Kevin's family and police authorities as to who the last person was to see Kevin alive. Bonnie Thomas says she and her parents had picked Kevin up from a friend's house in Thorburn. And after they returned to Stellarton, Kevin got out of the car, jumped a fence, and ran off, ignoring her calling him to return. Police have said information provided to them indicated that his stepfather was the last person to see Kevin alive. Now, anything else I read, information that I've received and go through on Kevin's case, states that it was the stepfather and the mother. Yeah. Now, the mother says that it's a group of boys who did this to her son. Now, being from here, and I remember this case. I remember when Kevin went missing. I like right from the next day that after he went missing, I remember because my sister-in-law was from Stellarton and she was very upset about it. And she was crying and everyone knew immediately it was being stated that he ran away. And she said she didn't believe it and that she thought something bad had happened to him. And she was quite upset, that it was being stated that he had run away. So, yeah, I remember that. And yeah, so, but then this story surfaced about that these boys had, murdered him. And I wasn't aware of that, and I guess maybe that was because I had moved away and lived away out of Pictou County for a long time, and then I came back. Now, one thing I did hear before I left, the only other story that people had talked about was a child actual predator that was around here who was a school teacher in the town where Kevin went missing from. And he was charged and did prison time and had videos of children and the whole shenanigans. And that was talked about, a bit that, wonder if he was involved. Did he do something? Um, that was talked about a bit, but I don't, there was no talk of a group of boys doing this. The talk was always more more about the stepfather, number one. Number two, uh, the Carl Skidmore, who was the teacher, who he's passed away now too, who was a charged P-file, um, convicted P-file. So, that was talked about less than the stepfather. And the friends thing, I did not hear about that until more recently. So, yeah, you thought it was the teacher, Lori. Yeah. Yeah, I know some people did. Like my ex sister in law, her husband, was like at the time she was my sister in law. And he was from Stellarton and he talked about it. And her and him both talked about it and wondered if that could be what happened. Now, my other sister in law, who knew who Kevin was because of her kids who went to school and stuff, she believed that something happened to him at his with the stepfather. Like she was convinced of that right away. Right away. Like right away. She was like, he didn't move away. Like she knew that there, like it said in that article, like some trouble going on in the home type thing. Like she was aware of that. And right away, that was her thought, right? And also, and according to his mom, that apparently the police were looking into that as well. Yeah. Okay, so before we move on to the next story, I'll look back and we'll look at some comments. Yeah, I know. Sweet boy, right? Yeah. You can just tell. 13. Look at him. That was probably one of the last pictures there. Very sad. Yeah. Sounds like he was having a hard time at home. Yeah. And can you imagine, like, the fire? Him and his brother were, I think they were 10 months apart. So they were, Irish twins, like my boys. My boys were 11 months apart. And yeah, there was a fire and Kevin survived and his brother, who was also in the bedroom with him, died. Wasn't he found in the wall in a house? Kevin? No, unless you guys are talking about something else there. No, he was found on the Logan Road, Kevin. Wasn't there a teacher or principal found in that area to be found guilty of child crimes? Yep. Yep. Right on. You got it right. Yep. He was. Yeah. The thing is with Kevin's case, if he was because they said his death was horrific, whatever, they didn't say exactly what was done, but they said it was bad. There's got to be some DNA on him. And this is what bothers me about Kevin's case. It really, really bothers me. I call Kevin's case the forgotten case because it's not talked about enough. Besides some articles like I just read there from a local paper, that's all you'll pretty much see. His mother has a Facebook. Um, but as far as like any big, you know, like W5 or cold case files, not like none of that. Like, besides the injustice to Kevin, him in this case, the lack of coverage is an injustice in itself, in my opinion. And I don't understand, with everything that we have now, why, uh, if his death was that horrific and messy, there's got to be some DNA on him somewhere, or lack of DNA, and certain DNA that would say, you know, uh, yeah, so that something's not right here. Um, yeah, yeah. This is one of those cases that just breaks my heart, and it's, with Lily and Jack, it was my thoughts immediately went to Kevin's case, how that happened with Kevin, and Kevin went missing, and for years, oh, he's missing, he ran away, he'll be back, um, and then he's found, and he was murdered. And I thought, oh my gosh, please don't let this happen with Lily and Jack's case. And please don't let those crazy stories start to develop and go right through Pictou County that people believe. Like, I did not want that to happen. Would the teacher be Mr. Murchison? Maybe spelled his last name wrong. Uh, Carl Skidmore was the teacher. Yeah. Geez, don't tell me there was two. Uh, Hi, Carrie. Thanks for being here. Don't worry about being late. Can always go back on the replay. Deep in the woods, who besides husband was a suspect? We don't know. The only reason why we know the husband is because Kevin's mother was honest about that and said that he was a suspect. I bet it was Mr. I think his first name is Larry. He abused me when I was a kid. Oh my goodness. And my family moved to Pictou County. No, that wasn't the teacher, but I am so sorry that that happened to you. As an adult, when I went home to my father's funeral, oh my God, he showed up at the wake to remind me of the abuse. I kicked him out of Porter's funeral home. Oh, disgusting, eh? Ugh. Well, I am so sorry that happened to you. So sorry. And the nerve. The nerve. Hi, Mike. Thanks for being here. Why did she think that? Are you asking why did she think her husband was the suspect? If you are, I would say she knew because of how he was probably being treated by law enforcement. And again, we have statistics there, right? We don't know who did anything to Kevin. But again, there's statistics, right? In the sense that step parent. Yeah, we're all very sad that that happened. That's horrible. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Carl Skidmore was the teacher. Yep. And by the way, he lived in the same end of town as where Kevin lived too. Was his brother's name Corey? Kevin's brother, Brian? Statistics would say the stepfather would most likely. Oh, there you go. She's saying the same thing I just said. Uh, yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And again, that kind of leads a person to a certain belief, right? Um, I think they found him in a shallow grave. Yep, yep. It was shallow. His foot shallow enough that his sneaker was sticking out. I think his foot was still in it, is my understanding. Exactly. Wouldn't you think so? Like this is a cold case that needs to be revisited. Like it really, I'm telling you, this case really pisses me off because mm, it just yeah, yeah. I was curious myself. Yep. Yep, justice for Lily and Jack. I so pray that they are found. So, so, so pray they are found. You know, not that there has to be a body if something nefarious took place, but it just makes things that much more difficult. Uh, was an Amy teacher fired in that area for, yes, for having inappropriate contact with students? Yes. Yep. Yeah, and she got house arrest, and she taught both of my boys, actually. I had to sit both of them down and go through the whole question of did she ever do anything to them, blah, blah, blah. Because one of my sons, she did have an infatuation with, and I, I'm right on to that stuff. I was right on to her. Like I knew I just told my boys, she is a wacko. Stay away from her. And the son that she was infatuated with, um, like she would just call my house just to talk about him, not about, hi, I'm calling, you know, because he had a bad mark or anything. Like she's just calling to chit chat. And I was like, Are you calling about his schoolwork or that there's anything going on here school wise with him?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, well, goodbye. Like, don't call me back, please, unless it's regarding something to do with school that I need to know." um, and we were in public one day and she come over and was trying to grab a hold of him and hug him. And then I kind of, uh, pulled him away, right? Because I was like, "What the hell, lady? You're whacked right out of it." So I kept telling them to stay away from her. She is out of it. And of course, kids, they don't understand what you're trying to say. And he's like, "What do you mean, Mom? She's like the nicest teacher we have." And I was like, "Yeah, I bet she is." Stay away from her. Uh, so yes. And she did end up with charges. Uh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The stepfather is not alive. They moved away to PEI and then he passed away. Hi, Cher. Thank you for being here. And by the way, thank you for reminding me. Can you believe I actually had the very first thing on my note for today? Thank Cheryl. But you weren't here yet. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, guys, Cheryl sent me a beautiful package with the sunshade for the car with Lily and Jack on it, the Lily and Jack pens, 3 of them. The stylus pen is beautiful. The stickers, a pin to wear, um, like a button pin, and I hope I'm not forgetting anything. And it's all beautiful and it's all going to go to use. I'm wanting to make something with the stickers and I'm going to figure it out and probably use those to make something. But thank you very much, Cheryl. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. You're very caring, and thank you. There had to be a reason he kept leaving home. Yes, I agree. And I mean, teenagers do that stuff, right? But I mean, obviously there was trouble. Um, for it seems pretty obvious. Uh, Hi, Bonnie. Thanks for being here. Was that teacher's name Deidre? By any chance? No. Um, Not sure if you're talking about the female. Probably the female by now, but no, it was Amy Hood. Maybe that's her maiden name. I don't think that was her maiden name though, but maybe. Yeah, I know. Scary, right? Yeah. Yeah. Uh yeah. I am so onto that stuff. Like I have a good radar for that stuff. And it's so funny because uh like I would say to other people like what do you think of that teacher, And like she seems a little whacked out of it to me. And the day that we seen her at the drugstore, and she was pulling at my son to give him a hug, um, and we get out in the car, and I said, Patrick, that woman is not well. There's something wrong with her. I'm telling you right now, if you're ever out in public and around, like with your friends or whatever, and she's tries to get around you, whatever, stay away from her. And um like, I could tell that day that she just looked right out of it, like, mental illness-wise, like, there was something off with her, and, anyways, lo and behold, and he was like, "Mom, she's one of the nicest teachers," and I'm like, "I'm telling you right now, trust me, I'm never wrong, I'm telling you, listen to what I'm telling you," and, oh boy, when that came out, he was like, "Mom, how did you know?" She's nasty. I know. Just disgusting. Yep. 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 Just to look at her, like even before we knew that, I just, ugh. Yeah. 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 She was charged, but to me, it should have been more than what she got. She should have went to prison, not house arrest. She'd probably get prison now based on those new laws. And I mean, the boys that she did that to, although she didn't do it while they were her student, she did it after they were her student. So, if that makes sense, if you know what I mean. Like if she taught grade, I don't know what grade she taught, I can't remember. I feel like it might have been grade 5 maybe. She did it when they were teenagers. Like she didn't do it when they were in her grade 5 class. She did it when they were young teenagers. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She would the way got the connection going with them was at the hockey games that the kids would go to, which my son that she had the infatuation with, he used to go to the hockey games. And yeah, just they're out there. They're out there. Yeah. Well, thank you again, Cheryl. Maybe that's why no DNA has been connected. Perhaps they never got a sample from the stepfather. Well, that's easy to do, though. Yeah, they just do the familial DNA. Um, so that like he has children. That's no issue. But and there'd be other family members. But uh, I mean, whatever they found on Kevin when they found Kevin, um, I mean, his sneakers, they seen his sneakers, so I'm sure there was still material, evidence there. That has to be sent for thorough DNA testing. I'm telling you, I'm going to look into it because if it has to do with cost or whatever the reason is, or maybe it was and they didn't find anything, but I want to know. I want to know. And this is what I'm saying. There's not enough being done with Kevin's case. Why is this stuff not being pushed? Um, for DNA, was the DNA done? Um, if not, why isn't it being done? Why is there no push for his case to be out on those top notch W5 cold case files? Like why? What's why is his case being so neglected? It just pisses me off, you know? Innocent 13-year-old boy and just nothing being done. Nothing but rumors. And that's it. And there's nothing left. There's nothing left. So whatever there is to say may as well be said. So if the mother believes that a group of teenage boys did this, lay it all out on the table is the way I look at it. That in my opinion, that'd be my thoughts. I'd be putting it all out there. Every bit of it, the names, the whole everything I know, because there's nothing left. It's 30 years cold case. So, yeah. All right, shall we move on to Alex? People that abuse children like teachers tell the kids stuff about the parents to turn the child away from their parents, and kids, of course, believe them. Yes. Yes. And when that teacher I was talking about with my son, that's basically what her phone calls were about. Was basically like, I think you need to do more of this with Patrick. And, well, I'll tell you what she was going on about, saying that he needs to spend more time uh, socializing and going out with friends and doing stuff rather than spending time with his grandmother. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Who the hell do you think you are, lady?" I was like, "Does this have anything to do with his marks or what's going on in his classroom? Is everything school wise doing okay?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, no, that's all good. It's just, boys his age don't usually spend time with their grandmother." And this was like grade 5 or 6. Can't remember what she taught, but I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell?" I was caught right onto that. I was like, "That's not normal, lady. That is not normal." Um, yeah. All right. So I'm going to skip down and we are going to, yeah, exactly, right? What a predator. Oh, my alarm bells went right off. Yeah, I hung up the phone and I called my husband, who's my husband now, but he was living in the valley at the time. Called him right away and I was like, "You are not going to believe what this wacko teacher just did." And I was like, "Please confirm to me that that is not normal." He's like, "No, that's not normal. There's nothing wrong with Patrick." Uh, so, like, people spend time with their family members. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. All right. So let us move on. Now, like I said, I do not have a picture of Alex Penney, but we will go over him in this article. So, again, Alex Penney. What you're going to hear some familiar roads in this story regarding Alex Penney. Okay. compared to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. So again, he was found in the same area. So again, he went missing, same as Lilly and Jack and Kevin. And the same as Kevin, he was found years and years later. Unlike Lilly and Jack, fingers crossed, they find Lilly and Jack. Not years and years later, sooner. Trail hiker, hi, thank you for being here. Sooner than that, hopefully. But yeah, so you're going to hear some familiar roads in here. So again, this is what I'm saying, similarities, right? So just to refresh, we have 3 separate cases we're talking about here, all the cases revolve around the 289, right? 2 bodies found off of the 289, Kevin further up, nearing the border of Pictou County, Cumberland County, it's called Burnside. Alex found also off the 289 down a road as well. You're going to hear the name of the road here, and it's going to sound familiar to you. Little black bear. Hello, my little friend. I know, right? I know. A lot of kids gone missing. Carla, hi, thank you for being here. Yes, I have watched that. Yep. Yep. I know. I know. Yeah. Yeah. It's such an injustice, his case. It just makes me sick. It just makes me sick. And boy, oh boy, I wish we had this, what we have going on here right now with Lily, the whole time with Lily and Jack's case, back then with Kevin's, I'll tell you that. Man, I would have been all over that like white on rice. All right, I hope I didn't miss anybody. All right, so I will go over and read this article. Same article, but now it's going to go into Alex. Okay. John William Alexander Penney, and he went by Alex Penney. 19 years after he disappeared, Alex Penney's remains were found in an abandoned copper mine in Pictou County. Penney's remains, which were identified through DNA analysis, were removed by an RCMP extraction team in September 2002. After being discovered by local amateur mineral explorers inside the old copper mine located on private property a short distance off New Lairg Road near Garlick. Okay, all sound familiar? You can see the similarities. So if you pay attention to what Brad is saying, Brad was in those roads that Brad talks about. And Brad is one of the witnesses that gave statements to RCMP in the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. He talks about these roads out there. The remains, which were identified through DNA analysis, were removed. Oh, sorry. The remains were located about 15 meters, 50 feet, inside the mine and down a vertical shaft approximately 9 meters, 30 feet, to 15 meters deep. Penney's vehicle, a 1972 GMC Jimmy, had been discovered in December 1983 on Matheson Road. So again, I'm sure you guys have all heard that. So you see the similarities. About 3 kilometers west from where the remains were found. Little else is known about the man at the time of his disappearance. However, rumors in the county indicated that Penney might have been involved in the rug trade and biker activities. Some have insinuated that he ripped off someone shortly before he vanished. Now, again, As I told you, we have to be careful with those rumors because rumors get started that have absolutely nothing to do with what happened to the individual. And I gave Billy Smith as an example where that's basically what happened there. You saw in Lily and Jack's case, basically, um, that they were taken and put on a reserve. Not true. In Kevin's case, oh, he ran away. Not true. Um, yeah, so some have insinuated he wrote. At the time, family members had assumed that he had just taken off for parts unknown, something he'd always talked about doing, although they too had heard rumors about his possible involvement in the rug trade. He was reported missing on November 18th, 1983, just 5'4" tall. I'm actually taller than him because I'm 5'5". Um, just 5'4" tall and approximately 130 pounds when he disappeared. He had recently turned 39 years old. That is a small man. Both Kevin Martin and John William Alexander Penney are still open active investigations, says Sergeant Bridget Legier, RCMP Media Relations Officer. Both are in the process of being submitted to the Nova Scotia Major Unsolved Crimes Program. And by the way, they have been. Let me just come back over and put that up. It has the number on it for all three of these cases. If anyone has information, please, there's the numbers to contact. The program, which already includes Lynn Oliver, offers up to $150,000 reward for conviction. So another similarity, Lily and Jack's case, Kevin's case, and Alex's case, all these cases are in the program for rewards. We have received tips in both these files, but our focus right now is that we really want to bring this back to the public. Anyone who has information, it is never, ever too late to come forward. And that's the thing. It is never too late. So please, anyone with any information, please come forward. A person might have a little tidbit of information that could crack these cases wide open. All righty. Now, what we're going to do for Lily and Jack's case is you remember Billy Smith's case? Yeah. I remember Billy Smith case. They say Charlie Bailey did it and Burnett's were involved. Yeah, and he got off, but so I mean, we can't really say that he did it. Um, but you know, yeah, the rumors were put out there that it was over a rug debt and that from a gang or gang from Ontario and that they took care of him. He went up there and they killed him and that was the rumor that stuck for a while. Um, but I think the case that went to court was pretty much what it was, but it ended up faltered, right? Uh, yeah. So, oh, they're pretty deep. Yeah. Yeah. How deep do these mines go around there? Do they go for miles or just short distance? Some of them go for miles. I don't know if they all do, but I know some do. Yes. They didn't know to look in the mine. These were, um, uh, oh my God, what are they called again? They Geez, it said it right there in the article. Now, of course, I always get lost for words, but they were people that went out and just did that. Like they would go out and do that. Um, let's go back and see what they were called. Penny's remains were the remains were located. Uh, an abandoned mine. Penny's remains, which were identified through DNA extraction in September. Amateur mineral explorers. Explorers was the word I was looking for. Yeah. So it was accidental. So just imagine being out and you're an explorer and that's what you stumble across, right? Imagine the people that put him there. They would have thought that that's done and over with. He'll never be found with all those years that pass by. And then here come along some amateur explorers. And boom. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think rug-related red rooms are typically hidden so well. They don't care that much to go to the trouble to hide them. Exactly. Good point, Paris. Good point. And very true. Very true. You're right. Like they're just gonna come up and I could tell stories on that. That's a whole other story of knowledge that I have on that, but we won't get into it today. But you're 100% correct. Yeah, in my opinion, wouldn't there be stuff in a mine of someone like skin scraps, hairs, or something? Possibly. Like that'd be another one that you would think, right? That they could find, possibly find some DNA there. Uh, yeah. No, no, it wasn't over a girl. It was over houses being set on fire uh, for people paying people to light fires for insurance money. We watched the documentary on here. Unfortunately, it'd be hard to find because it was while we were waiting to watch Nick Aldridge after the first organized search by Please Bring Me Home, and he was given an update. Well, it ended up he timed it wrong, and it was going to be an hour later than what we had expected. So I pulled up the Billy Smith uh, documentary and we watched that during that documentary and it explains it in there. And you can look it up yourself on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Yeah, and it explains the whole thing. Then there was the Brent Nugent who kicked an old man to death. Yep. For a case of beer. Brent got off on it because police beat him up after they took him into custody. Yep. I remember that one too. Yep. Mm-hmm. Expose them all. Hello. Pictou County has many bootleg mines that are not on the maps. People dug bootleg mines for coal to heat their homes years ago. Yeah, good point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Bet there's old mines near Lansdowne that aren't on any map. Yeah, I bet you there is. I bet you there is a big time. Probably more so than anywhere else. The Code of Silence. That's the name of it. Yes. Yes. Yeah. The Code of Silence with Billy Smith. On Billy Smith. Yeah. AI Answer says the most common reasons for murder in Canada revolve around gang related organized crime, arguments and altercations, and domestic and intimate partner violence. Well, geez, they pretty much covered everything there, didn't they? Way to go, AI. Yes. Yeah. I say she is too. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it, Handmaiden? Who was the brunette from Pictou Landing who served time for Red Brum? Anyone know who he murdered? Um, I do know who you're talking about. Um, I grew up in Trenton, so not I didn't hang out with any of those folks, believe me. I wasn't allowed in that area. That was the area, where your parents always told you, do not cross this area. Do not go into that part of town because that part of town, like it was like walking into a whole other world. Um, but yeah, I'm not going to say the name, but yeah. You guys can talk about that in chat. One of Janie's brothers lived right beside the West Fault mine years ago, we were told. Edwin? Oh my God, does she have a brother named Edwin? I didn't know there was an Edwin. Okay. Let us now go to Lily and Jack. And what I'm going to do is, so there we go. Sweet Lily and Jack. Lily Sullivan, 6 years old. Jack Sullivan, 4 years old when they went missing. Last seen May 1st, 2025. Reported missing May 2nd, 2025. Garlick Road, Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, $150,000 reward. Now, like I said, you guys would have noticed the similarities mentioned in the Alex Penney case there with those roads, right? The Matheson Road, Lairg. So we've heard those roads mentioned also in the Lily and Jack case. And again, that is the area where Lily and Jack went missing from. It's the same area that Alex Penney, who was missing for years, was found in a mine. It's the same area where Kevin Martin, who went missing, was found off of the 289 further up the old highway. So again, similarities. All went missing. Two of the four found, determined to be homicides. They're all on the provincial rewards, $150,000 reward in all three of these cases. I mean, it's four, two kids and one, four individuals. And all taking place in Pictou County along the 289. So many similarities, many similarities. So what I'm going to do is read the most recent article, one of the most recent. It's on the RCMP side, actually. I'll show it to you as I take it up, and then I'll put Lily and Jack back up there as I read it. Hi, Wanods. Haven't seen you in a long, long, long time. Thank you for being here. If there's anybody else that came in and I missed, thank you for being here. Okay, I'll put Lily and Jack back up in a minute. Yeah, so this was April 30th. So this is on the RCMP's Royal Canadian Mounted Police website. Okay. And it's it's the last article on here, most recent up to date. So that's the one that I'm going to be reading. Okay. Just so you can see it there, and then put Lilly&Jack up as I read it. Fact-based tips sought as RCMP investigation into disappearance of Lilly&Jack Sullivan continues. Now, I know they're saying fact-based tips, which of course that's what they need, right? In any case. And I know that somehow got turned into, all the YouTubers and the Facebookers. I don't think it has that much to do with that. I think it has to do more so with the RCMP acknowledging that they do believe there are fact-based tips out there that can lead them to Lilly&Jack, and they want those people to come forward, is how I take it. April 30th, 2026, Lansdowne, Nova Scotia. The Nova Scotia RCMP continues an active and comprehensive investigation into the disappearance of Lilly&Jack Sullivan 1 year after the children were reported missing from their home on Garlick Road in Lansdowne. Do you know what, guys? We are going to take a pause. We're going to take our little break, 2-minute break, so I can go take a bathroom break. You guys go ahead, keep chatting. I will turn on our hoedown song, unless you guys want to hear something different, but I know most people love the hoedown song, and it kind of brightens the mood up a little bit after exactly a little bit of pee break, after talking about such sad stories, right? So we'll do the hoedown. Hi guys, I'm back. Yes, I remember Cecil Martin. Yep. There's some other ones too. Yeah, I could tell some stories. um, yeah, so uh where were we? Okay. I'll go back over. Okay, so on May 2nd, 2025, at approximately 10 a.m., Pictou County District RCMP responded to a report. Now listen to this. Listen to this because we don't know what the 911 call states because here in Canada, we do not have access to that information, unlike in the US. So I find this interesting because this is probably all we'll find out about this 911 call. Okay. RCMP responded to a report that 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack had wandered from their rural property early that morning. So we know that much, and that's probably all we'll ever know about the 911 call because they are stating it here. This is on the RCMP website. So they are telling us that's what was stated in that phone call, the 911 call. The report in that phone call, it was stated that Lily and Jack had wandered from their property. A large-scale multi-agency ground, air, and water search was initiated, led by 24 ground search and rescue teams and supported by specialized RCMP resources. On May 3rd, the Northeast Novah RCMP Major Crime Unit assumed lead of the investigation. Now, there's another thing that kind of strikes me because, people had asked, well, why is major crimes becoming involved? It was asked in the media, the media interviews there that had taken place. That question was asked, and Rob McCammon had stated that that's something they do just to in case they have to become more involved to help give all uh give all assets to help but it's saying here that unit, the major crime unit, assumed lead of the investigation under the Missing Persons Act, which we know it still remains today. RCMP units from across Canada, as well as National Centre for Missing Persons and the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, are assisting. So I mean, they are definitely not assisting or giving more manpower. They assumed the lead. And we know later on that McCammon had said in one of his interviews that keeping it under the Missing Persons Act does open more doors for them. He did state that. This investigation has involved sustained and wide-ranging efforts over the past year, says Sergeant Rob McCammon, officer in charge, acting, of Major Crime and Behavioral Sciences. Substantial RCMP and partner agency resources continue to be dedicated to this file, and they'll remain in place until the circumstances surrounding Lily and Jack's disappearance are determined with certainty. Some of the investigative steps taken to date include obtaining and executing judicial or authorization for materials and digital devices of those closest to the children, allowing investigators to examine phone records, banking records, etc., formally interviewing 106 individuals, administering polygraphs as an investigative tool. And notice how it says as an investigative tool. Conducting forensic, and I want to again remind you guys, it was after the polygraphs, first round of polygraphs had been completed, that those things were allegedly stated to Daniel Martel regarding uh, the fire, the wood stove, um, from an RCMP inspector, highest ranking, who had asked him about his vehicle that he had crushed, which, how did they know he had a vehicle crushed? um, I mean, we'd be crazy not to think that they're not watching him, right? Um, that asking him about what was burned in the fire, stating that, there's not enough information about Thursday night. We think you did something to the kids. This was after the polygraph, okay? Um, so, administering polygraphs as an investigative tool, conducting forensic examinations at the Ottawa based RCMP National Forensic Laboratory. Who thinks that no information came back on that stuff yet? Probably has, but that's not being made public, no doubt. Reviewing all 8,132 functioning video files. Searching 40 kilometers around the Lansdowne area using RCMP human remains detection dogs. Evaluating and prioritizing 1,191 tips. Working through 1,534 investigative tasks. Multiple investigative components continue simultaneously with information gathered through the investigation informing next steps. All possible scenarios remain under consideration. A significant and sustained investigative effort is ongoing. Our investigators, alongside partner agencies, have conducted and continue to conduct hundreds of follow-up, says Sergeant McCammon. Every credible lead. What's going on? Our investigator. Sorry, I lost my place. I looked away for 2 seconds. A significant and sustained investigative effort is going on. Our investigators, alongside partner agencies, have conducted and continue to conduct hundreds of follow ups, said Sergeant McCammon. Every credible lead is being actively pursued, and every available resource is being applied. Through the past year, the RCMP has continued to receive information from the public and acknowledges the assistance provided by community members across the province and beyond. We appreciate people's concern and engagement, says Sergeant McCammon. At this stage of the investigation, what investigators need are specific, verifiable details to work from. Rumor and speculation won't lead us to Lilly and Jack. Anyone with fact based information related to Lilly and Jack Sullivan's disappearance is asked to contact, and you guys see the numbers there on the screen there. Oh, I will put the number back up. Yeah, so there we go. There's the numbers again. Come back here and see what you guys are saying. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully DNA will play a part in a conviction in the Jack and Lily case. It might in all three of these cases. The thing with Lily and Jack, they're not, I mean, the other two cases, they are victims of a crime, right? We know that. Lily and Jack at this point are missing. Excuse me. You know, definitely some neglect, obviously. Um, there was neglectfulness that took place on the day, for sure. Anything else? We don't know. We know things don't look right. We're not idiots. We're not idiots. We know things do not look right. Um, so yeah. Oh, sorry. I sure remember being told about a crop company. They moved him. Oh yeah, Cecil. Yeah, yeah. Few crooked cops around here. Yeah, there sure is, Lori. Cecil Martin is the reason these old murders didn't get convictions. Well, I'm sure it didn't help him and the rest of the gang of crooked officers. Which I mean, every area has them. But us who are from here, we know which ones were here. That's for sure. Yeah. Expose them all. That was Cecil Martin. Yeah. Uh, we get diddly squat for info. Very frustrating. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There are mayors, lawyers, judges, law enforcement, government that are corrupt. Yeah. These days seems there is a lot of them. Yeah. I think the corruptness around here in the police force was much worse before than it is now. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, it would be nice to hear the 911 call. I know. I know. Too bad the authorities won't provide it. Yeah. Yeah. We'll probably never, ever hear that. Yeah. 55-year-old Cecil Martin, the chief of police from Hansport, with actual exploitation of a youth. Yep. Yep. And that's just one. You know there's more. Uh, yeah. Yeah, if you Google his name, it'll all come up. I've read it before. Yeah. Criminal group around Pictou in County includes family member of law enforcement. Suspect, uh, sus- suspect a cover up in the works, in my opinion. Hmm. I would love to see interviews, trail hiker, like we did for Russell Williams. Yes. Yeah. Now that might come out. That might come out, the interviews. You know, if anything was to come out of this, right? And down the road, you know, if anything like that ever came to light. Because I mean, remember, we're not even there yet with Lily and Jack. You know, they're missing. I mean, we know things are not right here. Like I said, we're not stupid. We know things are not right here. Um, but beyond that, we just, you know, it's frustrating. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? In Canada, we don't get any of the investigation stuff until they get a conviction. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and like I said, the 911 calls, I don't know if they ever release those. Like, I'm trying to think of any cases that I remember where they were released. I don't remember any. Oh, the case of the 3 kids being murdered by parents on the Abercrombie Loop. Why is that not coming to me? I should know about that. Yes, very bizarre. Very bizarre. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, none of it looks good, does it? None of it. None of it. And like I said, there's I'm going to be very careful on the things that I'm saying on here as far as this case. Uh, yeah, yeah, because to me, there's stuff that just shouldn't even be put out there, and we need to be very careful on what's being put out there. Uh, it seems like they're asking for something specific. Yes, they know what they need, but they don't have it yet. Yeah, and they know that someone knows. In my opinion, they know somebody knows. I think that it is an important part of Lily and Jack case, even if they say it is separate. It is a separate case. Yeah, yeah. Why would the major crimes spend so much resources if they didn't believe foul play was involved? Right, Cheryl. And hello, Cheryl. Right. Yeah, right. There's also actual child traffickers in law enforcement. Yes. Yepper, there sure is. All over the world. They're in the school systems, they're in the DHCS, the CPS, they're everywhere. They're in our churches. Yep. Yep. I don't know if I said thank you for being here, Envision, and thank you. 100%. They place themselves in those positions. Doctors, doctors, they've just got, I think, like 2 or 3 here in the Maritimes recently. Doctors. Yeah. Yeah. An outside law enforcement team needs to be brought in my opinion. Yeah, that article that the lawyer did there, and I can't think of his name right now. Sorry. Is it Tom something? That's what he believes. The judge, the old judge, is retired now, but that's what he believes. Yeah. Hi, Cole J. Thanks for being here. How many people lived in that area in 1983 compared to today? Well, I would say there's definitely more today, that's for sure, because of immigration and whatnot. Um, if you're talking about Pictou County, or if you're talking specifically about Lansdowne, that area. Do you have any cases we can look up? Yeah. Think so too. They go hand in hand. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Um, and I mean, I know the kids aren't the victim of that actual case with Daniel Martell, but absolutely. I mean, it tells you something, right? Um, these are all the things, right, that tell us like something is not good here. Something's bad. How many people lived in the area in 1980 compared to 3? Is there a way to find that out? I don't know if you could find that on the internet. I don't know. Look it up and see. It'll tell you. I know it will go back. I've looked back to other years, but I don't know if it'll go back as far as 1983, but you never know. No, me neither, handmaiden. No, nor have I. There was a blog page that many posts about old missing and murdered cases in Pictou County. Loads of info. Yes, yes. I think yes. Unsolved was the blog name. Yes. Yeah. I used to read that quite a bit. I haven't in a while. Yeah. I think in Canada the only way 911 calls would be released is with court order. Yes, and probably for court purposes. Um we should get the media fighting for that one. See if they can get that. Get those released. Would Stats Canada have that cool J? Well, and I was thinking like maybe if you asked AI, you never know what stats that AI could pull up for you, uh, because it's going to search the whole internet. On the Abercrombie Loop kid's name were Annette, Adele, and Jeanette. Parents' name was Mary and Jim, I think. The last name was Cody. Oh, I remember the Codys from over that way. Why do I not remember that case? I'm going to have to look that up. I remember the Codys over there. I went to school with them. Maybe trail hiker, but I don't know if it would narrow it, yeah, to specific areas. Probably just countries and towns, maybe, or the counties. Yeah. A substantial number of child um, bedroom occur within the context of domestic violence. Yeah, fathers are frequently the perpetrators in these scenarios. That's true. True. And the step is the other statistic. Jim killed himself in prison, and Mary served time and moved back to Pictou County. You can see the older kid's picture at the Trenton rink if it is still there. Oh my goodness. How did I not know this? Holy. It's a sad world we live in that this happens to children. It breaks my heart. I think every family member who have children should all be given a wood chipper. It's sad. Yeah. Fathers are frequently the perpetrator of the control against an estranged partner. Yeah, fathers are frequently the perpetrators in these scenarios, often killing children as a tool of revenge and coercive control against the estranged partner or in retaliation for separation. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that struck me is in those tapes, um, where it's the Janie's brother stating about Daniel destroying the stove and the washer. Um, when you read about coercive control, which we already know is taking place there, um, but that's another form of coercive control, right? It's making it difficult for the woman in the household. I mean, how's a woman supposed to be cooking the meals and cleaning the clothes without those two major um, uh, appliances, right? Yeah, I pick right up on that stuff. Like as soon as I heard the brother say that, I was like, oh yeah, well there you go, figures. And it's something that I lived with myself. Handmaiden of God, not offhand. I wasn't even going to chat. I was just going to watch. I had my third massive heart attack on Sunday, so I'm just trying. Oh, well, yes. Please heal. Please get rest. Please. Uh, that's why during this covering this stuff, we try to have a little bit of laughter too, and a little bit of music in there, and just shift gears a little bit. Um, yeah, you can find that out from the census. Yeah. We need to do better government who will be willing to change the laws and do the right thing, in my opinion. Yeah. I think you were late coming in. If when you go back to do the replay, you will see something to that effect at the beginning of this little black bear. AI could probably pull up the census for all those years. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking AI probably could. Yeah. Um, just put it in there and see what it says. Yeah, sending prayers and quick healing. Yeah. All right. I'm going to come down, down, down. Yes. There you go. I don't mind putting her name out there. It should be out there. Yeah. And the little slap on the wrist that she got just disgusts me. All right, guys. I am going to say goodbye to you all. I'm going to send you lots of love, lots of positive vibes. And there's sweet Lily, sweet Jack. Lots of positive vibes. Thank you to you all for being here. I'm going to try to get together a members live here soon. So I hope to see you all there. And I will play the missing posters and the unsolved homicides on the way out. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Have a beautiful day. It's gorgeous out here. I know some of you guys are battling some horrible weather, tornadoes and whatnot. So stay safe, please. And I will see you again. Hopefully not too awful long down the road. All right. Take care, everyone. Lots of love, lots of positive vibes. Bye to you all.